Well, first of all, really, especially this early in the season, there's not a loser in tonight's game. We knew before we played Kansas State that they're a very, very good team. You don't share in the Big 12 title a year ago and return the players and obviously a great coach and coaching staff, and you're just going to go out there and be clearly the better team. There isn't a lot of difference between our teams, and I say that because I feel like we left with a hard-fought victory over an excellent basketball team. On our end, tonight was the first game this season where comprehensively we knew we were in a high-level game, and we had a number of players go through things individually. You know, Stanley's one where he was in immense foul trouble and yet put that behind him, came in very, very late in the game and made key winning plays. Brandon Ashley, who, you know, he hasn't played in a game like this, in fairness to him, in a long time. You could see that for most of the first half. But in the second half, Brandon was as big of a reason as we won as anybody. And then I could keep going on. You know, Caleb Tarzuski hasn't been scoring as much. Tonight was his night. We got the ball to him, and he delivered. And then obviously T.J., who, in my opinion, is our team's heart and soul. You can't define his game by points. You have to define his game by his leadership and playmaking. So we're very, very proud of tonight's win. We feel like we beat a great team, and that's why you come to Maui to challenge yourself on a neutral court like we just did.
Thanks, Coach. Let's take questions for the players. Please direct your questions to a specific player. We will bring a mic to you. Raise your hand if you have a question. Third row.
Stanley, I was just wondering how it felt like to come back after that long and, kind of the first test you'd had at this level of that kind of situation. How did it go, and were you able to feel pretty normal coming back in 7 minutes?
I think Kansas State's a really good team, and for me, as a freshman, this is my really first game where it was like super intense, and you kind of feel it from the start of the game. And I think we have great leadership and great coaching because every time I needed a little stint for myself, I can look at Coach Miller or T.J. or Caleb or Brandon and keep going. And while I'm on the bench, just staying engaged and staying in the game, knowing what's going on, how they're playing. Also knowing myself not to bowl into people and kind of control my body a little bit more. And at the end of the day, it's all about winning games. And when I went back in the game, it was just time to rebound and get it to our leader, TJ, and have him, orchestrate stuff.
Stanley, at the end of the game, you had lots of games that were similar to this in high school. Did all those games back then make the end of the game easier?
Not really. College is really different than high school. At the same time, I got the steal. At the same time, if I gamble, I miss, then they're on a 4 and 5, and I'm in trouble now. So it's way different. Way more stakes on the line.
Question in the third row here.
TJ, Coach just mentioned about being heart and soul, and your teammate just mentioned about leadership. Can you talk about your role this year as a senior starter with this team? Big expectations?
We came in, as the number 2 team in the nation, and, my job is to keep everyone level-headed. That ranking doesn't matter until the end of March, early April. And, pretty much my job is to show how hard I'm working on defense and get us into our offense and kind of just make sure things run smoothly for this team. And I know my teammates do a great job of, making shots when I get it to them. So it's a team effort, leadership-wise, but I do as best as I can.
For Stanley, just talk about that steal you had near the end of the game where they were trying to inbound it and you were able to get it.
We call it boxer stance here. Just in the lane, and once everybody cleared out, it's just me and him on the island, I feel like, and I knew it was coming, and I was right inside of him, and the only way he can get it if he passes to his outside hand, and he would have to tip it and get it, so I kind of gambled knowing that I could make up for it, and then he passed it right to his chest, and I just stepped in front of him and stole it from him.
And I think that's the first time he's been in a boxer stance since he's been in Arizona, too. So good. Hopefully that's more things to come.
More questions for the players? One third row, please.
TJ, I just wonder if you could elaborate a little bit on the team's mindset the first time you guys have had a game like this, and was there any sense out there that how it was going, or tricky, difficult, and nerve-wracking?
You know, I thought when we played UC Irvine, we grew up a lot, but after this game, you know, it kind of shows how resilient our team is. The score was going back and forth, and you know, you weren't really sure which way the score was going to go, and I mean, we just played hard. We knew this game was going to be close. Kansas State is an NCAA tournament team. They're very good. They're very well coached, and I thought we didn't get down when we were down in score, and we didn't get too high when we were up. So I think we did a good job.
TJ, you were on the team last year. How did the loss of Aaron Gordon affect this team this year?
You can't really replace a guy like Aaron Gordon, what he does on the court. He works hard, he defends. You know, he doesn't force shots. You know, this guy next to me, we brought him in, and he's doing just as good a job as anybody in the country. So, you know, it's hard to replace a guy like Aaron Gordon, like I said, but, you know, that's last year, and we have to move on. It's a new team.
We'll take one more final question for the players back here in row 3.
One more for TJ. Can you just look back like a couple years ago and just see how things are going and where you are now and the situation for yourself? Is this kind of some of the things that you envision?
You know, being at Duquesne, obviously, I thank them for giving me my start, but I've been watching this tournament since I was 5 years old, and to be playing in it, you know, with Coach Miller, who I've been growing up hearing about in Pittsburgh, and you know the fans we play in front of every night. Words can't describe how thankful I am for Coach Miller and all these fans for giving me this opportunity to play here, and that's why I play so hard every night. Is because there are many people that want to be where I'm at, and I wouldn't give it up for anything.
Thank you, TJ. Thank you, Stanley. We'll let you get back to your team before we
job.
get to questions
Good
for
job.
Coach Miller. Questions for Coach Miller? Front row.
Hi, Coach. Number 2, Marcus Foster, he was kind of quiet in the second half. Did you kind of get the feeling he would kind of get going there and lead their team back?
Well, you know, we watched Marcus quite a bit on film, as much as we could in one day, and obviously we scouted Kansas State ahead of time. And, you know, respect isn't a good enough word to describe how we categorize him as a player. There aren't too many guards in this country who are better basketball players, who mean more to their team. The thing that I admire about him is he really does things through the flow of his team. He forces very little. He takes great shots and makes his teammates better. Seems like a great kid. Obviously, one heck of a player, and he proved that tonight because he was challenged at a high level by, I think we guarded him with 3 different players, and for him to put up the numbers that he put up, it wasn't like we were giving him threes. His 6 threes were hard-earned, and Kansas State did a good job of freeing him up, but I have no regrets of how we defended him from the three-point line. It's just he's that good. I'll also tell you this, that Thomas Gibson's very good as well. I mean, he's a load, and again, on our end, Caleb Tarzuski is an excellent, excellent low-post defender. There aren't many guys playing that bring to their teams what Caleb brings to our team defensively, and one of the keys to our victory tonight was, I thought, his really good defense on number 42.
Any final questions for Coach? All right, thank you for your time, Coach. Arizona advances to tomorrow night's championship game at 5 o'clock. Congratulations.